I don't know. After hearing him calm and talking about the Tether story, it's probable.
Go down to the county attorney's office. I think you'll find a lot of humans down there.
All right.
No disrespect.
Stop driving.
I'm flirting with the judge in front of my dad.
Probation. What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday night. Friday night. I already said that this morning, but we made it. It's the weekend. Yay. How's everybody doing? Hey, Jay. Hey, Phil. Heather. Who else? I saw a few other people. Bubba, Sally, welcome. All right. I'm a little giddy right now. I'm excited. Tommy, what's up, buddy? Okay. Just a quick update. I did tell you guys I was going to hopefully have my thank you video out today. Been bouncing around some ideas with Heather, and I think we have what we're going to do. But I don't want to half-ass it, don't want to rush it. I want it to be sincere, and I want to do it right. So we are actually going to be making the video this weekend and posting it on Sunday. So look forward on Sunday. Yeah, that's when it's coming out. And I just want to tell you guys one thing. Heather looked fine tonight. Yeah, she did. I was talking to her before I went live. All right, first case. Man, it's a bizarre one. I have never seen people argue over this ever. Especially not into a court. Well, I'm not going to say argue over it. When my mom passed away, there was actually an argument over her ashes and, what we were going to do with them, who got what. I've got 3 siblings. So there was a lot of, my siblings and I don't get together get along anyways, but yeah, we weren't going to go to court over it though. But yeah, get ready. It's kind of a tough one, especially when the mom talks. But before we go into it, you already know what to do. Like and subscribe, do your jump kick backflips. And if you would like to donate, link tree's down in the description. All right, let's go.
Richard Dumont versus Lisa Dumont et al. This is case number 23-10939-C as in Charlie, Z as in Zulu. The court recognizes before today Mr. Ravi Garamurthy on behalf of the defendants, who apparently are all seated now at the table. All right, Judge. Yes. And also now joining us today via Zoom is Attorney Jeffrey Slocum on behalf of the plaintiff, Richard Dumont. Mr. Slocum, can you see and hear us, sir?
And good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Do we anticipate Mr. Dumont joining us today, Mr. Slocum?
I know they were having some problems with Zoom, so I guess let's proceed without them.
All right, let me take a look here. This is a motion filed by the defendants for a temporary restraining order and return of ashes.
Want this streamed?
I'm sorry?
Do you want this streamed?
Doesn't matter right now, it's fine. All right, let me take a look here.
If I could, Judge, we don't need to address the temporary restraining order. We stipulated to a restraining order that the court signed. The only issue would then be the issue relating the ashes.
All right, let me catch up here. There was a motion.
All right, I feel like there's a little bit of downtime right now. How's everybody doing? Lucy's been sending me some gold.
Maryland's here, Judge.
And Marilyn was apparently married to Eugene.
Yes, 52 years.
And you, for how many?
52.
And were they married at the time of his death?
Yes.
And Richard Dumont, what is his relationship to Eugene and Marilyn?
Son.
Scap, that's terrible. That is terrible. Hey, Raven. I know the second I start talking, he's going to stop reading and continue. They tell the whole story. So don't worry.
So there's a home at 10141 West Roby Road here in Missaukee. Yeah, that's in Missaukee County, just across the county line up nearby 72. Okay, and who has that home?
So that home belonged to Marilyn and Eugene, and they lived there their entire lives. They farmed and lived there. At some point, there was a deed that was done that added Richard to that deed. So that is then co-owned by Marilyn and Richard, with a ladybird deed with Marilyn and Kathy, who's her daughter, and Lisa, who's the other daughter.
Okay,
So Marilyn's portion would pass to the two daughters, but Richard has his portion already, and he owns that. The lawsuit was filed by way of a partition by Mr. Slocum.
Yep.
To partition at least those actions between Marilyn and Richard.
and who was in possession of the residence?
Marilyn,
Marilyn's still living there?
she's living at the home,
Does Richard reside at the home?
used to, and now moved to a separate residence.
Is that separate residence still on the same acreage?
No,
All right,
not subject to this litigation.
now that I have a snapshot of what's going on, Mr. Murphy, your argument for your motion.
Thank you, Judge. I filed a counter complaint as well regarding personal property, which is a lot of farm equipment that was owned by the Dumas, Marilyn and Eugene. And my understanding in that counter complaint is, at least we've alleged, that Richard has taken possession of those, of these farms, personal property items, and has them in his possession, wouldn't let anybody in the family go inventory it, take pictures. That issue was resolved by way of a temporary restraining order, that the items would not be sold, hidden, dissipated, and that the parties would be allowed to go inventory and take pictures and so on. And that's been done. The issue remains regarding the ashes. Eugene Duman passed away in December of 2016, December 10th.
Oh, okay, so it's been a while.
It has. And the ashes were picked up in February of 2017. It is unclear if Marilyn was with Richard to pick up the ashes, or if Richard picked up the ashes by himself. However, the ashes were picked up from the funeral home, and Marilyn, after 52 years of marriage, was not in the most state of mind to take the ashes back.
All right.
And
So if he passed away in December of 2016, what happened to the ashes after the cremation?
so Mr. Duman, Richard Duman, took the ashes, had it in his possession, and he told his mother that when you feel better, come back and get the ashes. She went to live with her sister for a few months, several months, and came back to, I think before she left, she asked for the ashes, and the response was, when you come back and feel better, you can get the ashes. When she came back after several months, the ashes were with Mr. Duman, who resided on the same property that's in question. Miss Duman, Marilyn Duman, would visit that house regularly to see her husband.
Okay.
The siblings, I believe, also were there to see her husband, and that went on for several years.
They would go visit the ashes?
Yes,
Okay,
and it's in an urn, it's sealed, it's there. She would take flowers, she would take angels that she would make, and with the intent that she would get the ashes back and go and put them and lay him to rest. Mr. Duman would never let her take the ashes and simply would tell her that he's fine where he is. Subsequently, the Dumans moved, Richard Duman moved. She hasn't had an opportunity to go visit her husband
moved
yet, from the Roby Road address to his new
where he
address.
was living with her.
He was living on the same property, which was just across the street down the road.
It was a separate
It
property.
was a separate property. It was
Separate
not,
property.
but it
It'd
was
have to be if it's across the street, a different parcel.
a different parcel, right? It was,
Okay.
she would go right over, but now they've moved several miles down. She's not allowed to go there, not visit, not get her ashes. And she's entitled to her ashes. She has priority under the law. She's made that request for several years. She had access to that, and Mr. Duman just won't return her husband's ashes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Slocum, on behalf
I would
of your,
simply
I'm
also
sorry.
state that Ms. Dumont would take the stand and testify to those as an offer of approval, what I've stated under oath.
Okay,
And the two siblings are here, I believe the statute also further states that if there are other people with equal right, which I don't believe they have equal right, or the court will determine there were children, the two children would vote, essentially that mom should get the ashes back.
okay. Mr. Slocum, do we need to take some testimony, or what is it you'd like to add today?
Well, first of all, I don't know if the court has had an opportunity to take a look at the answer that we filed, but we believe that MCL 700.3206 is dispositive of this issue. Ms. Dumont, who has filed this motion, the attorney, has asked for a return of the ashes. What are we, 7 years now after? It's 7 years after the incident. My client, the statute is very specific that she would have the right for the first 48 hours to exercise that right. If she doesn't exercise that right, she waives that right. Specifically says she's waived the right to make the decision about the possession of the cremains. My client is the one who paid for the burial, for the funeral expenses, everything associated with with Mr. Dumont's funeral expenses. And she did not do anything. And for her to come at this point and to say, and to argue this under a temporary motion, I mean, presumably we'd have a trial coming eventually. And then if the court wants to put this down for that, I would understand that. At the very least, if you want to do a temporary restraining order in relation to the ashes, that's fine too. But this is not the right forum. And she's not even entitled to it in the first place.
All right, let's go ahead.
What do you guys think so far? What are we thinking? Son paid for all the funeral services. Mother was supposed to get the ashes, but she was too hurt and too emotional, so she didn't want them right away. That's where we're at right now. This was 7 years ago. There's more to the story, and I'm not going to spoil it. But what are we thinking right now? What are we thinking? What side are we on? Also, hi, Monkey. How you doing?
Go ahead and take some testimony. By the way, I don't think this is going to go very well for the defendant. Miss Marilyn, why don't you come on up? Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information and testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, ma'am? You may have a seat at the witness stand. Thank you. Mr. Garamurthy, the court recognizes that this is the plaintiff. Defendant. Thank you. You may continue. I'm sorry, I said it wrong earlier. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Ma'am, would you state your full name for the record and spell your last name?
Mute button. Yes, Lucy, mother and son. Son has the ashes, mother wants them back. That's where we're at right now. This is difficult to hear her testify. So just be warned, get your tissues.
You want me to speak a little louder, or you heard my question?
Spell my last.
Yeah, spell your last name.
G-U-M-O-N-T.
Okay, and what's your full name?
Marilyn K. Dumont.
Make sure you speak up, man. Mr. Garamurthy, if you could slide that microphone just a little bit closer. It doesn't amplify, it only picks up and goes into the ear of the court reporter. We just must make sure that she's able to get down what you're saying, Ms. Dumont. You may continue, Mr. Garamurthy.
Marilyn, you were married to Eugene Dumont, correct?
Correct.
How long were you married to Eugene for?
52 years.
Okay. Do you remember when Eugene passed away?
Yes.
What was his date of death?
Pardon me.
What was the date of death?
December 10th, 2016.
Okay. Do you remember at some point picking up his ashes or having one of your children pick up his ashes?
I remember them going after the ashes.
Okay, what do you remember? If you would tell Judge Elmore what you remember.
I don't remember if I was with them at that time.
Make sure you speak up, ma'am. I know you're soft-spoken.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I know it's emotional. All right. Never mind. She says she's got it. Just keep going ahead.
I remember them talking, bringing them to their home,
Who's them?
Richard and his wife Shannon.
Okay.
And I was there and I talked to them. And I said, I cannot handle this right now. I'm sorry.
It's okay, ma'am. Just keep going. And I'm sorry, Mr. Garamurthy, I know you've directed her to talk to me. I know she's responded to your questions. I'm not trying to ask her questions.
That's fine, Judge.
Thank you.
You remember talking to Richard,
Yeah,
and do you remember what you told Richard?
I told him I can't handle taking him home right then. Would he please keep him at his house? And he said, yes, when I got better, I could come and get them. And
Do you remember asking Richard for the ashes subsequently?
later I asked for them and he said they're all right where they are.
Okay. Do you remember within how many days or how soon, how many months later you asked?
Oh, I went home with my three sisters came and got me. But I don't know how long I stayed there. It was a while.
And then when you came back to your home on Roby Road,
Nova Scotia, don't you know?
did you visit with Eugene?
I went to visit with him. I brought him a statue and some flowers.
Okay. Where were you visiting Eugene?
They had Eugene kind of up on it's like an attic stairs thing. And I had to be down here. I couldn't go up there. There was no way for me to go up.
Okay. And when you said they, was that at Richard and
Shannon.
Shannon's house?
Yes,
Okay. And for how long did you go to Richard's house to visit with Eugene?
how often?
Yeah.
Oh, I was there probably 2-3 times a week. I was down at his house.
Okay. And for what length of time? Was it for a month? Was it for a year, 2 years? Do you remember?
Oh, it was over a year.
It was over a year. During that time frame, did you ask Richard to get the ashes back?
Yes, and he said they were fine right where they are.
Okay. And subsequently, Richard moved, right?
Richard moved to a different home.
Okay. Were you able to then visit with Eugene at Richard's new home?
No, I was not allowed at his place.
Okay. And you didn't file this lawsuit, you just filed a countersuit after a lawsuit was then initiated by your son, correct?
Right,
Okay,
right.
all right. I don't believe I have any further questions.
Mr. Slocum, do you have any questions for Ms. Dumont?
Yes, I do. Ms. Dumont, did your son Richard pay for the funeral expenses for your husband?
Yes, he did. I asked him not to, and he said he wanted to, and that was for his dad. And he wanted to do that.
Okay, I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. Anything further, Mr. Garamurthy?
I have nothing further, Judge.
All right. Ms. Dumont, you may have a seat back at the table. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any argument necessary, Mr. Garamurthy?
Just, I would simply say that it's not relevant who paid for it. That's not what the statute requires. But we're not challenging the issue of who paid for it. If Mr. Dumont wants that money back, he can petition probate court. There's an avenue for that. The statute, again, as Mr. Slocum indicates, it doesn't say 48 hours. It simply says 72 hours to locate the next person who has priority. Everybody since 2016 knows who has priority. Ms. Dumont, again, was located. They know who she is. She's there. She's present. She's visiting with him, or with her son, and with her deceased husband. There's next of kin, 2 other siblings who have again indicated that they have equal priority. If for some reason the court determines that the mother doesn't, who would ask that that the mother get the ashes, and it should not be with the children. But again, the statute is very clear that the first priority is with the surviving spouse. We know who the surviving spouse is. We've known all along who it is.
Thank you. Mr. Slocum, any arguments, sir?
Yes, again, as I said, I think the statute is dispositive. My client's the one that paid for it. Ms. Dumont had the right to exercise the rights. Here now, 7 years later, even if there's statute of limitations for this as well. If the court were to follow the law, this is quite clear. My client's entitled to them. And I'm not saying that my client, has offered to give them half to work out something, but even if the law were not dispositive, which it is, this is still not the right forum to make a determination about a permanent disposition of these ashes. So for the fact that the law is not on their side, that this is not the right forum, and that I'm willing to have enter a temporary restraining order regarding the ashes until we can get to the right forum, which would be a trial in this matter, then this motion needs to be denied.
Mr. Gary Murphy, come forward for just a moment.
Could you imagine taking this to trial? Really? I mean, I guess is this a bench trial right now? I don't even know what this. Yeah, I think this is a bench trial, isn't it? I guess they did take it to trial. All right. I corrected myself.
Mr. Gary Murphy, I'm telling you that I have an addiction to my cell phone. I tend to scroll too much on it. Would you please hold on to my phone and take it back to the podium?
Yes.
Is that your cell phone?
No,
Whose phone is it?
it's Judge Elmore's.
Bingo. Ms. Dumont did not reject acceptance of them. She just merely asked for her son to hold on to them for a while, as I just did Mr. Gary Murphy. He doesn't own my phone, and I didn't give up ownership to the phone. I'm going to treat this as a motion for a preliminary injunction as well. The court will grant the motion for the restraining order and will grant an injunction that directs the plaintiff, Mr. Richard Dumont, to give the ashes to his mom. Thank you.
Judge, my only question is, can they be retrieved today?
He has to give the ashes to her by 5 o'clock today. The order will also include that he is not to waste any, he's not to take any, he's not to divide them up, he's not to empty them, he's not to sprinkle them. She never gave up ownership of them. She entrusted her son to hold on to them. For a preliminary injunction, the court only has to look at the likelihood of success and potentially, the court finds that this is in favor of turning over the ashes to the wife. I can't believe we're here today. Thank you. Mr. Gary Murphy, if you could draft the order.
Oh, I would draft it right away and get it over, Judge.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys all took the words out of my mouth. Good job, Judge. I love the cell phone analogy. That was awesome. And he was not happy that he was even hearing that. And you guys nailed it in the chat. Just be a person. Give the ashes back. I already know I told you guys my mom passed, and my sister just wanted like a little pinch to put in like a little pendant of some sort. No one fought her on that. It was like, why? You can do things like that. I don't know why they're fighting over that so badly, but it doesn't matter. Give the ashes back. All right. That's the hardest one of the day. The next ones are a little bit better, at least not so emotional. We're going to Judge Middleton now. At least I think it's Judge Middleton. You know how good I am at remembering my order.
Mr. Kling, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Are you Michael Scott Kling?
Yes, I am.
All right, this room isn't ideal, but I can see it looks like you're at the end of a long tunnel. The magistrate saw you earlier on some other cases, and I've got several other things they brought to my attention. The Chief Public Defender, Mr. Keith Stickley, is with us. Michael, last I knew you were in Plainwell somewhere. How did you come to get arrested on these charges?
For what?
Well, how did you end up in St. County Jail today?
Oh, I was actually in Portage, and I got picked up over there because I had warrants, but I was at Meyer actually. I did some Christmas shopping. I forgot a couple things. I ran up. I parked in their fire lane and they called the police, actually.
All right, so you got picked up in Portage last
Oh,
night
Yep.
and they
Yeah,
brought you down here on these warrants?
yes. Actually, I was gonna come down here today, and take care of the warrants. I have enough money for the bench warrant fees and, the one over in Allegan I had for child support, and I actually need to just get to my phone so I can give everybody their money.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I've got a bunch of things. You got several unpaid ordinance civil infractions that we're not gonna really deal with much here today. But you got charged on November 2nd of 2021 with having an unlicensed dog. You missed several court appearances and Luke Knopfinger was your lawyer. I
Yes.
appointed an attorney for you and set a attorney
Yes.
pretrial and you didn't come. That was in September. So we were trying to resolve everything in September 1st. And
Correct.
I did a bench warrant, did a hold on it. Well, you didn't show up. So there's a $250 bond in that one. File
Yes.
231718, you're charged with no valid operator's license on a moped. Luke Knopfinger is your lawyer, same thing. You didn't show up several times. You got arrested this summer. I did a attorney
Yes.
pretrial, you didn't show up, and so the bench warrant issued. Then there is a charge of driving with a suspended license from August 25th of 2022, which is start of the same moped case. And that case, same thing. Luke Knopfinger was your lawyer. We several failures to appear. This thing's about 5 pages long. And I did a hold, I waited 24 hours, did a show cause, you didn't show up and a warrant issued. So that's 3.
Yeah.
Then there's 4, no insurance, same thing, August 25th of 2022. And Luke Knopfinger was your lawyer, he didn't show up. You also got some newer charges that the magistrate saw you on from July 12th of 2023, where you got charged with driving suspended second offense. So that's when I saw you back in August and appointed Luke Knopfinger. Well, you didn't show up for that either. You've also got some unpaid fines and costs. I'm going to take care of one of those. You got an old unpaid trespass from January of last year for the city of Sturgis in front of Judge Pattison. I'm going to give you 2 days credit 1 and take care of that. That's 231350M. Fail to pay fine and costs. 2 days credit 1. I'm going to wipe out all the fines and costs. Now, I can't wipe out all your civil infraction fines because they're not crimes, they're civil infractions. So I can't put you in jail for not paying a civil infraction. I want to get these cases all back on track. Some of these are all under state statute. And you left town and basically we only catch you in snippets when you get picked up for something else. One of these is from 21. Several of these are from 2022. Then you have some new charges from 2023. So altogether, I think you got about 8 cases. Thanksgiving is coming up. My next attorney pretrial isn't until December 1st. I'm going to try to set this for Wednesday. Let's see what I've got. See if I can get Mr. Knopfinger to help with this.
Mine would be put your damn hand down. That'd be my judge nickname. Put your hand down. Peeps, that's awesome.
Oh, I set landlord tenant stuff.
All right.
See about Tuesday. Well, let me ask you a couple of questions while I'm trying to figure out where to put this. Where are you living?
I'm staying at my parents' old house, actually. My brother and I are getting it together, trying to sell it. I'm looking for.
And where is that house?
It's in Otsego.
In Otsego?
Yes.
Are you working?
McGonagall's in Kalamazoo.
Say that again?
McGonagall's in Kalamazoo.
Oh, yeah, all right. You worked there before. Are you still there?
Yeah, I actually, that's what brought me down to Sturgis. I was working for Ron and he asked me to open the restaurant on Omina Lake. So, yeah, I just went back.
Well, the original McGonagall's closed. Where is your McGonagall's?
Well, the original, actually, I went back to the original, that's in Kalamazoo. There used to be one in Kalamazoo, one in Otsego, we had one in Battle Creek, and then there was the one in Sturgis. We ended up closing the one in Sturgis and the one in Otsego. So.
Where is the one in Kalamazoo?
East Main.
I'm not familiar. It used to be on Stadium Drive.
Oh, different restaurant, different restaurant group. I know where you're talking about, and I used to live just down the street from there when I went to Valley. But yeah. No, this one's right on East Main. The guy that owns it actually owned Players Sports Lounge.
Well, your driver's license is suspended. Did you get charged with driving offenses in Portage?
No, I wasn't driving. I actually pulled up into the fire lane. I forgot a couple things and I went in to get them and they just closed. And so I went back to the truck and the next thing I know, I had the police there and I'm going, hi.
Did they charge you with?
He's that kind of guy. Parked in the fire lane. I don't care how long you think you're going to be. You don't park in the fire lane. I don't know if that annoys anybody else, but every time I see a car parked in the fire lane, like, no. Unless you're picking someone up and it's quick, there's no reason to be there. But I don't really think that's considered parking. Anyways, all right, let's finish this.
The retail fraud or anything, or they just picked you up on these warrants?
No, I just paid it. I just went Christmas shopping, actually. I just dropped $1,000 in their store and I just forgotten two things. So I ran out and I thought
did they charge you with a larceny charge in Portage?
For what? They didn't steal anything.
Well, no, so there was no retail fraud or anything in Portage?
No.
All right, no driving charge, no retail fraud.
I literally pulled into the fire lane because I just spent $1,000 Christmas shopping. I went out to my
Well, it's good you got money to spend on Christmas in early November when you got thousands of dollars worth of unpaid fines and costs and bond.
Good. I would have been at all these hearings had I screwed up. I apologize, Your Honor. I was gonna I had a warrant now again, and I had to pay that. That's why I didn't show up to court. I'll be honest. Cause I would have came in for the stuff here, and then I would have went to jail anyway. I'm trying to keep a job, so I have some money that I can spend for Christmas, so I can pay my bills and buy a new house, because I had mine stolen over in Sturgis. I'm just trying to take care of all this shit from back then. I have the money to pay for that, my warrants, and pay the people over in Allegan. I just got that yesterday. And I can't even get to my damn phone to pay these people.
Well, do you have a hold on you from Allegan?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
That's why I missed court. This is exactly why I missed court the last time, because I knew I was gonna end up in this fucking jail. I couldn't get out of the damn place, and I couldn't pay anything. Because I'm an inmate, I'm nothing but low-life
I wouldn't
trash.
have put you in jail except for the fact that you show up about 20% of the time when you're supposed to, but
No,
you're pretty
usually I do
straightforward.
show
You
up.
didn't show up because you had an open warrant from another jurisdiction and
That's
you didn't
why.
want to get arrested. Now they arrested you in Portage. They brought you here. They have a hold on you on another charge in Allegan. So
Just for
I'm
support,
trying
I
to
have
figure out
the
where
money.
to put this because I don't want to just leave you in jail until December 1st.
I have the money to get out.
We have only a 3-day week next week, and I was trying to look and see whether your lawyer was scheduled to be here for anything.
I can go meeting. I just want this shit taken care of. I really do.
Yes,
I
I
mean-
don't disagree with that.
I'm trying to buy a new house and start a new life, and I can't because I'm just hung. I just feel trapped. I have enough money to pay off Allegan right now. I have enough money to pay whatever the warrant or fine warrants are here, and then we can figure out how much I'm gonna owe you after. But I can't sit here in jail and lose my job. That's why I didn't show up last time, and here I sit in jail.
Well, I am conscious of that, but I can't set this. I'm gonna set it for an attorney pretrial via Zoom
Correct.
for November 29th at 1:30.
Alright.
I did wipe out one fine and cost you owe,
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do.
and we'll do all these other ones. The bonds are $100,
Alright.
$250, $250, $250. You're very generous. You paid $1,000 worth of Christmas gifts. You could have used it to post these bonds.
Well,
We
I'm
will
gonna
address
go
this,
and-
hopefully, at inconvenience to everybody else on Wednesday, November 29th at 1:30. So I'll see you then.
All right, whatever.
I love how I just hung up on him mid-sentence. He was done. Judge Middleton was done. Judge Middleton's awesome. I like watching him. Parked in a fire lane. And I didn't catch that the first time I watched through this. So I wasn't driving. I drove up and I know he didn't say that. I said I wasn't driving. I was parked in a fire lane. Like, yeah, you drove to get there. But yeah, he's not a South Sit, but he was close. No, it wasn't even close. What am I saying? No. All right, next clip. I'm not gonna dig this hole deeper. All right, this is a potential Karen. All right, let's go.
5656. Ms. Burks, the ticket was issued back on the 17th of October, about 6 o'clock in the evening in the area. 12 Mile Road in Coolidge. You were cited for speeding and the ticket was issued at 43 and a 30. The options you have this morning are 3. You can admit responsibility, you can deny responsibility, or you can admit responsibility with an explanation. How do you wish to proceed?
I am denying that I was speeding.
If you raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
I swear.
The officer will testify first here. Officer
All right,
Bush.
Your Honor. Driving eastbound 12 mile in a posted 30 mile an hour zone. Ms. Burke's vehicle was the third vehicle, a white Dodge Journey, in the east, the furthest right westbound lane. She changed lanes to the left, most westbound lane. I got a solid tone on our radar. Our radar is checked before and the end of every shift. Been certified on radar since 2015. She began passing the vehicle in the left westbound most lane at 43 miles an hour. And they posted 30. And when I stopped her, she said she was going the flow of traffic.
Thank you. Ms. Burks, it's your turn, ma'am.
The officer, I do not believe got me on radar. I'm not sure if you've been on 12 Mile at that time. It was still the time people got off work. It was very busy. He actually had to cut off a car behind me to get behind me. And there was also a car in front of me. I was not speeding. I didn't.
How fast were you going?
I'm sorry?
How fast were you driving?
I was driving with the flow of traffic under, definitely not 43. With the flow of traffic. When he pulled me over, when he got behind me, so he cut the car off behind me. When I saw that the police was getting behind me, I was looking at my speedometer and it was only at 37.
And everybody hits the brake.
Raven, I forgot this was your neck of the woods. I did. Have you met this cop before?
When there's a police car behind him. We all
When
see that when there's a police car behind us.
So
So
I
that
did
you lowered the
ask him-
speed to 37 and the speed limit there is 30. So you just acknowledged that you were driving 7 over the speed limit.
Yes, I was going with, if I had have went slower than what I was doing, I would have been obstructing traffic. It was very full. It was like people were just getting off work. I couldn't have went any slower. I couldn't have went any faster. There was a car in front of me and behind me.
The speed that you drive is not determined by the cars in front of you. The speed that you drive is not determined by the cars behind you. It's your responsibility as the driver to drive the car in a manner that's consistent with statute. Your vehicle speed was measured by the officer at 43 miles an hour. He is certified to operate radar. The radar unit that he used, he testified, was checked before his shift. It was working. He checked it after his shift. It was still working. There is no reason to believe that somehow his radar unit broke and then fixed itself in the middle of a shift. It worked when he measured your speed.
I don't think his technology broke or didn't break, Your Honor. That's not what I'm attesting. I'm attesting that he did not get me on radar. And also I asked him, and he can attest to this, if he had his camera on, and he said he did. His camera would have shown that I was going with all of the cars around
That
me.
doesn't make it legal.
So
Traffic is not a defense.
So he can pull over any car he would like and not every car.
Yep. He has no obligation to pull over every car. As a matter of fact, most police departments have regulations prohibiting pulling over multiple cars at the same time.
So why did he get out of his car and then he was actually not going to give me a ticket until he asked me why I was speeding, and I told him I was not. He got out of his car 3 times. He can attest to that. He said, "Oh, you want to argue with me? I'm going to give you a ticket."
Okay. Sounds like you talked your way into the ticket.
I'm not going to admit when I'm not wrong. I've been, if you look at my driving records in 5 years, I've had 1 ticket. Not because I haven't been caught. I don't speed. I go with the flow of traffic. It's obstructing traffic to go lower than what everyone is driving.
No, it isn't. That's contrary to the law of the state of Michigan.
Your Honor, I would that her ticket was a month prior to my stop, and it's for speeding.
Oh. So we stopped her.
He stopped me, but he can attest that he had to stop to get in front of a car behind me and stop them, literally almost causing an accident to get behind me.
You were watching the speed limit signs as well as you were watching what was happening behind your car. Maybe we wouldn't be here. But you've testified, ma'am, that you were speeding. You've testified that you were going at least 37. The officer measured your speed at 43. Your testimony is that after you saw him, you looked in the rearview mirror and observed that he was behind you. You saw him, what you said, cutting off another car, and then your speed was 37. There's no doubt in my mind that your speed was at 43 for the reasons that I've already stated. You're responsible for the civil infraction. The fine is $170. It needs to be paid. You can do it online. You can mail in a check or money order, or you can drop by the courthouse and pay it at the county. Thank you. This hearing is over.
Again, another judge that just shuts them down. Like, no, you're going to stop talking. She would have talked for about another 20 minutes if you let her. But yes, Heather, she did not pay attention to her camera angle. That's why I kept clicking on people's comments to cover her face. So it spared us the nose shot. All right, next clip. I think there's two more. I think there's two more clips. Oh, this one's good.
Where is my?
All right, we're all here. I've got Ms. Jabber, Mr. Traskos. Are you with us?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, your camera's not on.
Mine? Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I can't. I mean, who knows? I can't see you.
Okay,
All
no,
right, there you are.
okay.
All right, we're here on. Let me see. Which one are we here on? 2302-1665. Can I get appearances?
Gary Traskis appearing on behalf of Plaintiff Branford Townhouses Cooperative.
Ms. Jabber on behalf of Carol Vasquez, who is on Zoom.
All right, and I see Ms. Vasquez is present as well. So I received a notice for proposed entry of order pursuant to MCR 2.602 parent B, parent 3, and that was received by the court. And then shortly after that.
All right. Is this coming through really loud to everybody else? I know Judge Shackleford is generally pretty loud. This is really loud in my headphones. And this gets a little emotional. So if you guys have your volume up as loud as me, you might want to turn it down a little. Just a warning. And then you're going to need to jack it up for the last clip because you can't hear anything in the last clip. All right, let's go. Play button.
We received a objection to plaintiff's proposed order served on the defendant's counsel on October 13th, title protective order regarding disclosure of police reports. So I've had a chance to review the proposed order, which is essentially a protective order with terms in it that many of which I put on the record. And I didn't see anything in the order that was above or beyond what we indicated. I didn't see anything in there that went above and beyond or outside of the bounds of what was stated on the record on that day.
So, Judge, I'm just going to renew my motion to stay because we have a hearing in the circuit court regarding this matter on Friday. We actually were supposed to have a hearing 2 weeks ago, roughly 2 weeks ago, but I stipulated to an adjournment after sending in an offer to the plaintiff's counsel, and they said that they needed an adjournment to speak to the board. I granted that adjournment. Otherwise, I stipulated to that adjournment. Otherwise, we would have been in front of the circuit court judge, and they.
Who's your circuit court judge?
Judge Gibson.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing. I mean, as far as the objection to the proposed order, so your appellate case is up on Friday?
Yes, the first hearing will be up on Friday. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm not going to stay these proceedings forever. This case has been going on for far too long. But under the court rules, the objections regarding the accuracy or completeness of the judgment or order must state with specificity the inaccuracy or omission. And there's no specificity with respect to inaccuracy or omission. It's just you don't agree with my ruling, basically. And I understand that and I respect that. And you and your client certainly have appellate rights, but your objection is overruled. So this order will enter. However, I will sign the order, and the order will remain in the courtroom or in the court until next Monday. And then if we get an update about what occurs in court, and then we'll release the order at that time.
Okay, Judge, thank you. Just for the record, if you don't mind, though, I'm going to object to it in its entirety because I believe that there is no exception. The legislator hasn't carved out an exception for civil cases.
It's not lien material. It's not lien material. There is nothing in there that I have granted that is lien material. A police report with the witness's information, something that was not obtained through the Criminal Justice Information Network, is not lien material. The information that I have ordered released is names and phone numbers of witnesses, and that information was provided at the scene by those witnesses. The type of shell casing at the scene, again, is not lien information. So I understand you have preserved your appeal multiple times, Ms. Jabber, but with all due respect, you're wrong. And you can have it out in circuit court. That's my ruling. Your objection is noted for the record. You believe it's lien material, and the circuit court will work that out.
Thank you,
Go
Judge.
ahead.
You know, I was just going to say, so I further talked to the Michigan State Police, and so their explanation of everything was not that it doesn't matter whether it was lien material or not, but whether the police department had to use any of their networks or basically any of their technology that they have private access to, even if it's SOS material. So even if it's just a phone number, if they had to, for example, if they had to use, like, look them up in any of their systems, then it would be considered lien material.
No, if you talk to a human being, if I look at my court recorder right now and I say, Miss Maudlin, tell me your name and phone number, and you tell me your name and phone number, that is not lien material. And if I go back to my computer and I type her phone number into lien, that does not protect that material from being disclosed. It doesn't. I don't care what Michigan State Police told you. It does not work that way. And I'm confident that a circuit court judge, and certainly I think the record I made on that date is clear as to why I don't think the information protected material. And that's my ruling. Your objections noted. The Michigan State Police do not, I don't know if they don't have a clear understanding of what the circumstances are or what my ruling was and how limited it was, and that a protective order was in place. But that's my ruling, and that's what we're doing with it. But if the two of you can send an email to the civil clerks on Monday, just whoever writes the email, make sure co-counsel is, or brother counsel is, or sister counsel is CC'd on that email, and let me know what happened at that hearing date.
Will do.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, everyone. We're all set.
I think my computer was even slowing down. It was too loud for it. All right, last clip. I think it's the last clip. Yeah, it's the last clip. This one is from Albany, one of my new favorite courthouses down in Albany, Georgia. You figured out where that is. This judge, you can never hear this judge. It's a very low mumble. Doesn't matter what I do to the audio, you can't hear it. You can hear the defendant, so you can hear what's going on, but it's just you gotta jack your headphone volume all the way back up now. All right, let's go.
Deandra Phillips, MDB 961, Phillips, Charlotte 54, conduct complete of left. And that's Phillips, you are 261 years of age. How old are you?
24.
Freedom High School?
Yeah.
Where do you work?
Currently I'm not working.
How long have you been not working?
I lost my job because of the incident there.
Do you want me to go on the computer and see when it happened?
On the 7th of last month,
7th of November.
the 9th of last month.
So what do you do every day now? What do you do every day? Sit at home?
I have 2 kids,
What are the ages?
a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Man,
No,
you ever done any school after high school? You ever enroll anywhere in school after high school?
no, I have my CNA license. I got my CNA license and I just take care of patients.
Where did you get CNA license?
With the lady, go with a nurse professional.
A lady?
She have a program called Go with a Nurse Professional.
You get certified?
Mhm.
Well, I did it at the lady's house, you did it at some kind of building.
It's a building.
Where?
It's a flashy right there by Daisy. Yeah, by Daisy. It's kind of right there by Daisy.
Thank you.
All right, while there's a pause here, I'm going to go ahead and peace out. I'm not leaving the chat. Don't worry. I'm still in the chat. I'm not running away. I'm just not going to pause it anymore. So I'm going to make this my bye. If you haven't done it already, please hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick backflips. Look forward to a video coming out on Sunday. And yeah, if you want to donate, link tree's down in the description. It's in the chat over there. I would very much appreciate it. And I think that's it. Till next time. Bye.
Or you cover this all kind of. Make it a short story, make it an honest story, all right? Like you know, I'm sitting up here reading the report.
Yes. On that day, the police were called earlier that day, about the same incident. I called them the first time. Well, I called them both times. Well, I called them to get my ex out of the house because I wanted him to leave. He didn't want to leave. So I called the police.
What did I ask you?
Well, I was fighting his mother and his sister,
You were fighting with his mother,
my ex.
fighting your ex-mother. And why were you fighting your ex's mother?
He kicked my car and they came to my house.
She came to your house and kicked your car.
No, he keyed my car.
He keyed your car?
Yes, it was $5,000 damage to my car.
What did mama have to do with it?
Nothing. She came over there to my house and they jumped on me. And I got
The
arrested.
mama and the child jumped on you
The daughter,
because they keyed your car.
He keyed my car and I called the police. They was mad that I called the police on him. So he keyed my car.
So they started beating you before the police got there.
Yes.
Or this happened earlier or something.
No, that was a whole different incident. But we got into a fight when she arrived at my house because I called the police on him.
Now, one of your children, his child? One of your children, his child?
No. I was at my house, like they came to me. I don't even know why I got arrested. They came to my house.
You gonna make me read the report and tell why you got arrested? Found her name in the report. It's all over. D'Angelo. For the pink, gray, and color hand. Lauren. Off her brother.
That was not.
Unpaid. That said she was killed.
No, I did not. No, I did not. When she mentioned that to the police, okay, he had my belongings. He took the first
I
incident.
told you to tell me when I read it, you're gonna be, oh, I know you know.
He took my
Save
phone.
your kids, D'Angelo Black. Color 2021 Toyota Corolla.
He took my phone. He took my son's tablet. He
Young
took
look
every
at
device out of the house.
Marquita's face, yelling at her, calling her a bitch. Later, she got between Marquita and Keandre, and she was later hit with the clothes fit, calling her to fall on the ground. Keandre stated Marquita attempted to pull Keandre off her. Got back up and hit Keandre back, and threw Keandre, and she continued to fight. So that's why I asked you, why did you charge this for the condo? You said, I don't know why they charged me.
Wait.
You was out down the brawl, young lady.
My house. They came to
You know,
my
you
house.
can't be justified to fight just because
Yeah,
you're home.
guess what? They didn't have no business at my house.
And if you that your boyfriend.
I had just called the police on him to get them away from my house.
Did you go to jail?
Yay. Well, I called the police to get him away from my house. And when I got there,
When you was on, were you on street trial for disorder of conduct before?
no,
No?
I don't think so. No.
How long were you in jail?
Like an hour, my mom came and got me.
But your mom didn't come here to fight the other mom.
No, because I didn't feel the need that I need to call my mom because he kept my car.
To meet your car?
Yes, that's my mother.
All right, did you pay your mama back some money for?
I
You
don't
got a
have,
bond?
I lost my job, so I can't right now.
The new generation just hard for them to answer questions.
No, I did not.
That would be the answer to the question. You did that so well. Okay. So let me see the address of mama here. So I'm still stay on Church Street in Dawson,
Yeah.
the 294. See a church. See a church.
Are you talking about the Dawson location?
Yeah.
She stay with me, my foot, like she just don't have address.
On the driver's license, same thing. What you need to get her address. A good address on this card. We have a phone number. You on Van Buren? Apartment number?
Hey,
Miss calls when they be refunded at that address, 12688. Miss bills to be placed on probation for 6 months, or fine 24876. These two complete. Amen. Now you using your CNA to work?
yes, I can't go back to work until this is resolved.
What you gonna have to do with me? I just asked. You're sitting now or something? Are you sitting with someone? Are you taking care of somebody?
Yes,
You're doing that on your own, or you work for a company?
I work for a company.
All right, you can have it.